Hello again. Welcome to another episode of No Stars TV, where we talk about the how, more about the who. I'm one of your hosts, Nelson Flores, and my other host, David Rice. Say hi,
Hello.
David.
I'm David. How you doing?
And today we have Eddie Mensore. He's the director, writer, and producer of a movie on Netflix right now called Mine 9. And before I introduce him, let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer real quick.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
First day underground's not like the first day in kindergarten.
Well, if those boots are waterproof.
The stream is no more than 60 feet deep. Rivers, lakes, wells no more than 200 feet. We are cutting coal 2,000 feet deep. Now, we are filled up with more methane than any other mine in this area.
You call them shit, and they come down and go down that mine, they gonna shut us down, methane or not. Paycheck's more important than getting shut down.
Paycheck ain't gonna mean shit if you die 2 miles in, Kenny. We got no mine rescue. We got no outside foreman. Cutting coal's risky business, son. Gotta hold your arm down here, understood? When those pumps give out, and they will, then my men are gonna drown 2 miles in, unless an ignition burns us up first. And we are all sitting right in the middle of it.
God's gonna protect us.
God will not protect us in hell, John.
Just breathe what you got.
All right, and ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Mensore, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Hey, so tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm assuming that you're from the area, West Virginia area, considering the you write what you know, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was born and raised in West Virginia, and that's obviously where the idea spawned from. And it took me a really long time to get the project made, really just being able to get onto coal mine property and film. So it was an idea that I had 10 years before we made it, or probably 15 years before we made it, but it took me 10 years to get to a coal mine property to even be able to film it.
Yeah, no, I was reading. I was reading about that and about how like some of this stuff you can't fake. You have to go down there. You have to see this machinery working. Real miners go down there. That you kind of combined the two, right? I mean, you built a mine, correct? And then you also shot in real mines. Tell us about those. How you did that?
Yeah, I always knew there was only one way to make the movie, and like to actually see what a real coal mine is. I always describe it to people as it's Mad Max in a Being John Malkovich environment. So there's no faking that on set. You're not going to build. I mean, this machinery is cutting through solid earth, in sections that are only 4 foot tall. So there's no faking that. So you have to get on set, or you have to get into a real coal mine. You're not going to go 2 miles into the earth with a bunch of cast and crew. So once we had the opportunity to go underground, we got to go under for 3 days. We went under with a skeleton crew, and we filmed real coal miners operating real equipment, and we knew all of our plates, just our VFX plates. Like, we need the operator from this angle. So anytime you see somebody from the side or back, it's a real coal miner. So we got all our basic shots that we needed, above ground and underground, and then dressed our act. We went back to Atlanta, Georgia, and recreated that coal mine in a warehouse. And then we took the same wardrobe, or work clothes that the coal miners were wearing, and actually took some of their work tools and brought that back to the set, and that's what our actors dressed up on. So we had a lot of the basic edits laid out as we started production, because we knew this is all we needed to get.
Right, right. And I got a little ahead of myself, but tell us a little bit about what the movie's about.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. The movie's about 9 coal miners in Appalachia who are working 2 miles under the earth when a methane explosion happens. And when a methane explosion happens, all coal miners, this is just how they work every day, they carry something on their hip called a self-rescuer. And that self-rescuer provides them 1 hour of oxygen, which should hopefully get them to the next point to find another self-rescuer somewhere that's reserved for them, and enough time to get them back up to surface. So, I mean, if you go 2 miles into the earth on a man trip the cart takes you in, it's like a 30, 40-minute trip. So all hell breaks loose and you have to go on foot, you're just searching to get the next tank of air. So really, it's 9 men working 2 miles under the earth. Methane explosion happens, and they have 1 hour of oxygen to get 2 miles up to surface as the people on surface are trying to rescue them.
Yeah, and I go ahead, David.
Yeah, that's one of the things I liked about the script. In the screenplay you have, because I'm watching the movie. I don't know anything about mines or coal miners, but I'm learning as I'm watching. And you had that son, Ryan, I believe is the name of his character, and he's 18 years old, just got out of high school, and he's going to go in the mine with his father. And the other miners explain to the young man, Ryan, what goes on in the mines and how to behave in the mines. And that was really well done, how you're able to bring the audience in by explaining to this young miner who's about to go 2 miles into the earth.
Well, like coal miners, like they're highly intelligent people. Like these people are engineers, they're mechanics, they're medics. They are just really, really skilled people, and it's very, very dangerous. So as the audience, the only person that we can relate to is Ryan, because it's as they go into the earth on the man trip, he's the audience. So we have to have that character just so the audience can relate to somebody. Because everybody else sort of has their shit together, like right. If you go underground, it's really, really scary. It's
But you made the character, which I found interesting because there's so much tradition that goes into mining, and you made the character a son of the miner, right? Father and son story, so to speak. So I thought that was good too, because we're not just the audience. This is a family tradition, I suppose you want to call it, but a family occupation, and bringing the audience that way to show what a family is like in that part of the world and how they work together, above ground and underground, was just very eye-opening.
Thank you. And that really means a lot, because as you can see, in the end credits from the Real Miners Talk, that's really the heart of the story. Coal mining happened in the early 1920s, Industrial Revolution. They needed coal to make steel for the war. So that's when coal mining happened. So this is just like Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. These people have been working for our country. Great-grandfather, grandfather, father, they all worked in these mines. So it's the lineage and the heritage and everybody's relatives works together. And these people work 6-7 days a week, 15 to 18-hour days. So they're together. That's their family. And, truthfully,
yeah.
So it's, them carrying the way they do is really important,
So great job of just creating those characters. One question I had is the song. I'd never heard the coal miner song. Is that like a known song for coal miners in West Virginia or for coal miners?
No, it's a crazy story. My dad's friend sang country music in the 70s, and he has this real sort of folky country song called West Virginia, Carolina Coal Miner. And the hook of it is coal miner, shine in your light. And it's very poppy and country. So it didn't fit the story for us. So I made it it's almost our real theme song in West Virginia is John Denver's Country Roads Take Me Home, right? Country Road. See, that's our theme song. So I wanted a theme song for us. So all we did is I found somebody to sing that hook for me, is if that is something that people sing, it's like their little theme. But it was completely just taking the hook of a Poppy song and singing it like really dramatic and scary.
No, it was a great job because I mean, it was a theme. To me, it was a theme in the movie. It began with it. It plays in the middle. They sing it at the end, and then it ends with it as well. So like, it's like the stop and starting of the story. It's like bookends for me almost.
It is. We really needed it because like originally the script was 110 pages, but we only had enough money to shoot 73 pages of it. We came in thinking we would shoot 77, but we shot 73. Like I knew 77 to 110 we'd never get a film. So you can't do that backstory and all that kind of stuff. So we needed that theme to really bookend, to just give us some closure.
Well, you mentioned, and we corresponded in emails, go back and forth, and you mentioned that the set took 15 months to build. Is that correct? 15 months to build the mine set?
It is. Whatever I said would have been 15 months. It was amazing how it happened. I moved here from Los Angeles, so I just said, I'm going to go to a tax credit environment. I'm going to make this film. So I came here and I found my production designer, Tim Barrett, and then we found a warehouse. And we had, I think, 60 grand at the time. So we spent, it might have been 11 months. Could have been 11 months. I'm not sure. But we just worked in our spare time and started building the set. And then the IATSE program, which is the laborers union, was doing like a trainee program for the big studio movies here. And Tim knew the guy who ran that program. So as soon as they said, hey, you want some like 6-7 kids a week, just bring in, bring out, bring in, bring out. So that was our labor. And as soon as that happened, we just got to build little chunks as much as we could over the course of, 11 or 15 months. Like it was a really long time.
Well, it was so real. I mean, it was so real because Chris, our producer here at No Stars, said, hey, you got to ask him, how did you shoot all that, underground in the mine? And I said, it wasn't underground. They built a set. And he goes, what? That was a set? All those wires and cables and machines and the flooding? And yeah, that was a set.
So to backtrack a wee little bit, that set, like all the walls, like it took us so long. We just got blocks of foam. We get chainsaws and then chisels, and you're carving that foam. It takes forever. And we didn't really have a crew. It was me and just Tim and myself, and then some free help whenever they came in. That's why it took us so long. So whenever we did the explosions, like it's just finely nice shaped black foam. And then Anayate Nakaro, who did all of our VFX, just added layers and layers to it. Smoke and debris and, the sound design came in. If it wasn't for Anayate, like, it would look bad, Like we did do on set of what she could do in post. Was just exponentially better.
And then, and I think now the flooding is going to come here, and which is, this right here is interesting to me because we were hired to do a commercial last year that room was supposed to flood. They ended up going a different direction, but I was like, how the hell are we going to make a room flood? And then when I saw this, I'm like, oh, great, I could ask Eddie how they did this scene.
We built a real water tank. We busted our hump on this. This took forever, too, because we had to, weld steel on the outside to make it safe. So it was probably about 20 foot long by 8 foot, and then we got the man doors, the door in a coal mine they come in and out of. They just build these little 2x2 square foot metal galvanized steel doors. So we saw on The Hobbit behind the scenes how they did this big monster flood scene, and they had just a bucket. It almost looks like at a fair. The thing where somebody sits on you, throw a ball and hit it, and the person sinks in the water. Just a cage, like a box cage of water, and we put it on sort of a hinge where you just pull a rope, and 2 people were dumping the bucket. Then we built a slide, so the water just blasts down the slide and blasts through the door and hits everybody. And we shot it all. We shot that scene in reverse. So we shot it with the water filled high, and on top of it is the foam walls that we pinned down so the actors are here. And then we just slowly drain water. Just had to keep walking the same 20 feet over and over and over and over until
Right.
it drained out to nothing. And then we blasted them with water, and that was it.
Well, that
Wow,
that
great
to me
job.
was, when I saw the film, it was just so physical, right? It's a very physical movie. It's a lot of dirt. It's very dirty. The equipment they're wearing, it's just very rugged. However, the script, the conversation that the men have with each other about their families and the mine and their responsibilities are just as heavy as everything they're carrying. And that to me is really carried the movie. I mean, you got all this physical stuff to it, but then that screenplay comes in with a dialogue between the miners showing their friendship, their history, how they care about each other. So how were you able to capture that kind of natural dialogue about these miners, the way they think and about their family and their community?
Well, every single one of those. So the story, the physical you're talking about, just to say it, I took like 4 of the biggest coal mine explosions from my youth growing up, and I put them all into one story. So I took elements of real coal mining accidents and put them in the story. But I didn't take the real coal miners who lost their lives in those accidents. I just didn't feel it was appropriate for me to make that movie the based on movie. But the coal miners that you're talking about, those are all my friends and people I know. Like Kenny, my best friend is Ryan in this world. His father's Kenny. His best friend, my other best friend's dad growing up was John. And these are all coal miners. And then Zeke is a reflection of my old T-ball baseball coach and my mom's second cousin, who's a coal miner, like the leader. And then Ryan's Ryan. So all those people were just a reflection of coal miners who I knew in real life.
But you captured the dialogue that you captured between. So what I'm asking is the conversations they had. They seem to me very authentic. But then again, I'm not in this business of mining. How authentic are those conversations between miners about the dangers of the job and their family and community?
It's 100% like, if you want to look at any of these pieces of dialogue, pull up Barbara Koppel's Harlan County, USA. I believe she won the Oscar for Best Documentary in 1976. It's about the strikes in Harlan County, Kentucky. Coal mining in general, it's a super dangerous occupation. Like I said, with the lineage and the family. Even John Sayles' Matewan, you can see that same type of dialogue in that movie. There's been a handful of Appalachian, this is what that is, those conversations are natural. It's just, I don't know, it's natural because it is natural. This isn't a job they go to at 9 to 5. These are,
Right.
Everybody dies at work that day if everybody doesn't have each other's back. That's what it is, and it's true. So those conversations are as real as it gets because there's no bullshitting. There's no coal miner who's a bullshitter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could play that clip real quick where they're deciding that they want to keep working. Let's play that clip real quick where there's an issue, but they decide to keep working.
We were sitting here talking in circles. Ain't none of us really come up with something. We gotta figure it out.
Well, I say we vote.
It ain't nothing but free heat's the way I look at it. Now I don't give a good goddamn what my brother finds down there. Excuse me, John.
Yeah.
Paycheck's more important than getting shut down.
Well, we all need to put food on our table, Huh? My family needs me to work, We all do.
I mean, that's like an authentic conversation probably every day with the coal miners, correct? I mean,
they've been making that decision, work in unsafe mines, big corporations and small, a lot of independent mines, and historically, they've cut corners. So these people really do go through that decision, do I go to work in a dangerous environment, put food on my family's plate, or if I don't go to work, they starve. So that is really something that they weigh that. And truly, on a smaller scale, actually not even on a smaller scale, just think of the pandemic now, for like someone working in a grocery store or the post office, whatever it is, like where they have to go to work. I mean, they're now asking themselves that same question that those coal miners are asking, and that's what they've
Right.
through their entire existence since coal mining began in the Industrial Revolution. They've always been unfairly treated from that sense, but you know.
Hey, in my notes right here, David, it says that the set was built over 11 months and they shot over 15 days.
We did. Yeah.
Did you shoot this over 15 days?
That sounds right. We shot the whole. Yeah, we shot in 15 days, 10 hours.
Like consecutive, or do you have weekends or consecutive 15 days?
3 5-day weeks.
Okay.
Well, then
12-hour days.
Okay, so if it's 15-day shoot, which is really quick, how much rehearsing did you do with these actors?
None. I took them all to the coal mine. The day we filmed, no, it was a different time. I took a skeleton crew in after the fact, but I made all the coal miners who were able to come. They came to the coal mine. They went underground. They got to meet the people there for training, and we got to hang out for a day or two with them, and then I sent them back. And I figure that's about all I can. We don't have time to rehearse because everybody lives in different places and no budget or anything like that. But I did get them to come down, go underground, meet the real people they're portraying. They all brought that piece with it, So there was no rehearsal, but I really believe, like with a movie like this, you just got to meet. You got to do justice to the people. So you really have to meet them. To me, so that was our rehearsal. That.
So I feel like you probably showed it at home and had a few coal miners go watch it. What did they think of it?
It was amazing. We got to do a premiere. We got to do 2 premieres in West Virginia. But we did a premiere at the Chuck Mathena Center in Princeton, West Virginia, in the heart of coal mine country. And I want to say 1,000 people came out to it. It was huge. And coal miners came out left and right and supported it, or like the granddaughter brought like their grandfather's lunch pail, and then we got it was just sweet and sentimental. And we opened on 12 screens at like real proper cinema houses throughout Appalachia, and we were #1 at the box office on like more than half of those screens. We branched out to 23 screens and branched out to like over 60 screens. We had New York, LA, Chicago, New Orleans, but outside of that was all Appalachia. So like they loved coal mine country, really supported it. We were in theaters for like almost 2 months throughout Appalachia. So
awesome.
It was beautiful.
So that became then, would you say, a movie that if I was a grandfather, I would take my grandson to and say, this is what it's like, or somebody in the family said, look, this is what your uncle did, or your brother did, or your father did. Did that form that kind of bond and communication?
Absolutely, it did. Absolutely. That was the heart of it. And that's why we lasted so long in Appalachia, was because of those coal mining stories, and doing well in Appalachia got us in LA and New York, and we lasted 2 weeks in New York. And really, it was crazy because we got to go do like Q&As in New York whenever we played there, and we did really well the first week, so they kept us around the second week. But even people who live like in upstate New York or wherever in New York would come into the city to watch the movie and bring a loved one, or like some random person would come on and have like, my grandfather was a coal miner and I wanted to come see this movie for them. So like really, even throughout the United States, that's that tie, that connection is what's given us legs at all.
Trees, wait up.
What is it?
Some pump on 9 is on life support.
All right, I'll put in another work order then.
Work orders don't mean shit around here, Teresa. Everybody knows that. Hell, we don't even have mine rescue.
You ain't digging enough coal, so they're forced to make cuts.
Well, that's bullshit. We dig more goddamn coal than any mine in this area. My apologies. But the old works are leaking more methane than I've seen in 30 years. Where's the outside foreman, huh?
He's still sick.
And no replacement. When those pumps give out, and they will, then my men are gonna drown 2 miles in, unless an ignition burns us up first.
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna call MSHA?
And what happens if I call MSHA? Huh? What happens when MSHA shows up here? They're gonna shut us down and we're all screwed. Is that what you want?
Everyone on your crew starts on time. Is that understood?
That's understood.
See, right there. I mean, watching that right there. I mean, like I felt like Erin, her character really. I think she did a great job of expressing like, I don't want to do this, but this is what I need to say. Like her face and her emotion, like you could tell, like this is not what my heart tells me to do, but I need to. This is what I need to say. She did a great job in that scene.
She did a wonderful job. Both of them, both her and Terry did a wonderful
Yes.
job. What Erin understood, and even what Terry understood, like with her character, she's like, it's not corporate where it's a corporation and she's not part of the community. Like she went to high school with those people. Like she is absolutely part of that community. She's just taking on that management job. And there's always going to be that stripe between worker and management. And by her recognizing that she is part of that community, that's where her acting can be good, I believe, is by her understanding that about her character. And she was in full awareness of it. It was really sweet when discussing it.
Right. And I think what you're saying there to me is that we can't just call this a black and white film. This is not a black and white issue. You just can't say they're good and they're bad, they're evil or whatever. No, there's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot to consider. There's community, there's family, there's schools, there's the economy, and you just can't say to someone, well, that's the evil guy. There's no villain here, really. It's just the necessity of it all, which puts you in a really tough place as a miner.
Yeah, it was important to not have the coal mine owner or somebody in an authoritative position above her. I didn't want the guy twisting his mustache saying, send him down, the bad guy is the coal mine, Mother Nature. We're messing with Mother Nature and that's just what it is, So the bad guy is the coal miner in the movie. The villain is the coal mine. It's the scary coal mine. It's not a physical person, because really these coal miners would not really even meet the coal mine owner in real life, So she is about, and you really see it by the end of the movie, she's not the bad guy. She comes and rescues them and goes against her own protocol to help them.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. There wasn't really a bad guy in this movie. It was these people coming together to save themselves. I mean, that's how I looked at it.
Yeah, every single character in the movie helped each other survive. There wasn't one character who did not help the next person get out of there. From the MSHA rescue to her, to the coal miners, everybody actually was a good person in the long run.
Right. And I think we have another clip we want to show. Again, the acting was just, great. And we want to show another scene of real quick with Zeke and the character Daniel.
Zeke. Zeke, is that you? Oh. Zeke, it's me, Daniel.
Daniel?
Yeah, it's me. It's me.
What happened?
Got all the way up here to the chamber and the damn roof fell in on me.
Daniel, we're not gonna be able to get this wall down.
That's funny, Zeke. I had a dream. I had a dream that you're gonna be the one that saved me.
You got air over there?
Yeah. Yeah, I got air. I just, man, I'm losing a lot of blood here. I can't feel my arm.
We got, I don't know, maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes of air left, Daniel.
5.
Can you see your phone, Daniel?
So one thing that, again, making movies, people don't realize, Zeke is not really on the other side of that wall right now, is he? Or did y'all film these separately?
No, we filmed that separately. We had a production assistant reading Zeke's lines whenever Kevin was doing his line. And then with
Yeah,
Zeke
so
lines, I think it was a rubber arm going through the wall.
yeah, I mean that's again they did a great job of like trying to help each other here. Like he's trying to help him, but he can't do anything. But I mean, again, being the producer side of me, always like movie magic in the sense of like even though they're done right there by each other, they're totally two separate pieces. And
It's
it's a difficult job.
Terry Serpico and Kevin Sizemore were like, I gotta be honest, give 10 actors the role of, you're gonna get your arm chopped off, now act. Like, 9 out of 10 would be really, really cheesy with it. And I don't believe Kevin was. They're just really good actors, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and that's what makes it difficult because acting is reacting, and if the character Daniel's not, if Zeke's not hearing the character Daniel, I mean that's difficult as an actor to react to just somebody on the other side saying the lines.
Yeah, there was another clip like Kevin. If you go a little bit further, Kevin's scene, we got cut back to a wide shot. He's just talking about throwing baseball with his son. It's very, very muttered. A lot of that stuff you're seeing was what Kevin was just letting the camera on and just letting him get into that character. He had his script, his blueprint, and then really it's just letting him go off and be an actor. And a lot of that was just his improvisation.
Yeah, that's when you get some great stuff that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but even your improv, granted, but what you wrote, the script, I mean, that moment with Zeke and Daniel, where he says, I'm not gonna let you guys die. I'm gonna sacrifice myself for the team. Man, and then we see the testimonials, right? At the end of the movie. And they all said the same thing. I mean, they would all do what Daniel was doing, and they would all do what Zeke was doing.
Absolutely. Positively, that line of dialogue was in the script, and that's certainly just something you have to drive home, because that is what those guys. There's not one coal miner I've ever met who would run away if something bad happened. It would only be them running to you to help you. That's just who they are.
Well, I think that's this movie, to me, I don't want people to watch it and say, oh, that's just your standard movie, and these guys get trapped in a mine. And no, hold on here. This is not your standard movie of some guys getting trapped in a mine. This is about people who have a tradition, a family tradition, a heritage, work in a place very dangerous for their families. This is not just a job. This is something really dangerous. And so when I saw it, I saw some political commentary, of course, but not much. But I saw more about this is what we do and why we do it. And that's what sold the movie to me. I was like, I love the sets and I love the costumes. I believed it, but man, such a powerful story. It's like a documentary, but better.
Everything you said is exactly what my heart is. I wanted to make cool sets. I wanted to do cool stuff, and that was our goal. But our big goal was, it's not another track movie. It's about these men, and these men, women, and who they are as people. And that documentary feel is, it is a procedural in a way. Like, what happens when a mine caves in? Nobody really knows what happens. Everybody knows coal miners go in a dark little hole, and that's it. So it is it's like Serpico from that standpoint. It's like, what happens whenever an explosion happens? Like, what's their path to get out? So I knew if we just kept that documentary procedural element to it, that was sort of what we could hang our hat on. And then if we could just what you're saying and what my heart was attempting to say is who these are as real people was so much more important than having like a bad guy.
Agreed. Thank you very much for your time. This is awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's the one piece I loved about it. There was really not a bad guy in it. It was a story of survival, and of everybody coming together and trying to see how to help each other.
Yeah. We hope more people watch the film. I mean, a 10-year journey on your part to make it, but you're telling a story that's really a lifetime. It's generational, right? It's not. It doesn't feel to me like it's a film trying to score cheap points. It's just telling a story of workers and family. And Nelson and I liked it, and Chris liked it, and our team Noreen liked it. We're like, wow, let's talk about Mine 9. It's a good little movie.
I think next time we should do an interview for a director a movie that we don't like. How about that? Next time. No, it was a wonderful, wonderful movie, Eddie. Thank you very much for your time. And I mean, we've kept you late, and so thank you for sticking around late with us and talking about this great movie, Mine 9. I don't have any more questions. David, do you have any more questions?
Just one more, because we saw it on Amazon Prime, and we're wondering how you got your film.
Netflix.
I'm sorry, Netflix, and how you got it onto Netflix. What's the process of getting a film to a distributor, and then how it gets on Netflix?
Every single thing from us, from a distribution standpoint, worked together. I turned down various distribution deals because they were just digital deals. So I knew, like in Appalachia, with our audience, A, I'm going to do theatrical myself because I know I have an audience. And B, there's Walmarts and Targets galore. So I want physical media. So we did really well theatrically, based on theatrical for independent films, we did very, very well. And then we did physical. We got into Walmart, Target, and Best Buy. And we did really well there. And then our digital on Amazon did well. And then Netflix came on because we had a built-in audience at that point,
Mm-hmm.
But if we did not slow poke it, we would have accepted the first distribution deal and just went digitally with somebody. We'd have never been on Netflix. It would have came and went. But we did it really the slow, meticulous way of the theatrical window, and then the physical window, and the VOD. And then that VOD led to the SVOD. We had to do every single step to get to that point.
All right, man. Congratulations on that, Eddie.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Thank you. But congratulations, Eddie. Thank you for being here with us today and talk about your movie Mine 9. Very educational. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the mining business, especially that that's where you're from, that area. It's something that our goal of this show is to get more eyes on movies that may be overlooked, and we truly believe that your film is one of those movies.
I sincerely appreciate you guys taking the time to do this.
Thank you, Eddie. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Eddie. All right. Until next time, thank you all very much. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.